And 605 BC, history bears it out, one of the great battles of the world. And there's been, I don't know how many they consider now. At one time I read a book called 21 Decisive Battles of the World that really turned the history of the world. The battle did. Whichever way it went determined history. And one of them was in 605 BC was called the Battle of Carchemish, in which the Babylonians defeated the Assyrians and the Egyptian coalition. And they became the ruling power of the world. Happened in 605 BC. And so on the way back, when Nebuchadnezzar, the military general, had chased the Egyptian army all the way to Egypt, they came back through Jerusalem, and that's when he took these captives with him. And so, but the Bible says, the Lord delivered King Jehoiakim into his hands. It wasn't Nebuchadnezzar's military might. It wasn't Nebuchadnezzar's brilliance that did it. It was God. God was in control of who's in control. And so it was God who orchestrated it and let it come to pass. And the word that he uses for the Lord is not the word Yahweh, the covenant name of God between Israel, but Adonai, which is owner, ruler, and sovereign. And God is the owner and ruler and the sovereign of this world, and he's in control of it. And Daniel believed that, and therefore he could rest in that, and he could submit to that. Now you think about it for a minute. Daniel's 15 years old. He was not in the mafia. He was not leading some kind of terrorist group in any kind of way. He evidently was a young man who believed in God, who feared God, who obeyed God. He was trying to live for God in the world in which he lived, and yet he was suffering in captivity because of what God did in judgment upon his people. And yet he hadn't really done anything to bring about, quote, the deserving of that. You see, that happens in our new world sometimes. God orchestrates a new world, and people suffer in that world because God is at work doing things we don't understand. And that's the thing about Daniel. I don't think Daniel understood everything that God was about. He didn't have any clue, but he believed in God, he trusted in God, and he was submitting himself to the sovereignty of God. And so we don't always understand what God's doing, but we have to be willing to recognize that sometimes we as good people, and I say good because none of us are good, only one person good, and that's God, but that we suffer. And before Christ comes again, it could get a whole lot worse than what it is today. But we got to understand that our faith still has to rest in God. It still has to believe in Him and trust in Him, even though we might have to suffer as they had to suffer in their day.